together for the first time. Combined for 42 points. Nick, how'd they look together?
Great defensive game by the Clippers as a whole. Lou Williams and Patrick Beverley saved them in the late in the fourth quarter and in overtime, and credit to them for that, for beating a very game Celtics team. Paul George looked good once again. He's looked good in all 4 games since he's been back from the double shoulder surgery. That dunk notwithstanding, I've now moved from skeptical about Kawhi Leonard's load management to concerned about what's going on with Kawhi Leonard. He hadn't played in a week, and by the fourth quarter of this game, despite having only played 22 minutes up to that point, looked totally out of gas. Something is wrong with Kawhi, and if he doesn't get right, the Clippers have no chance to be anything other than, they're a pretty good team in the Western Conference.
I like the way they look together. I like them. Again, Paul George is like the ultimate compliment player, but he's yet a superstar.
Yep.
And so to be able to play the way he did last night, I get it. Kawhi Leonard was a little up and down, but I'll take Kawhi Leonard playing the way he played last night with Paul George playing the way he played and still get wins. This is why this is so exciting for the Clippers, because they have guys who can get it done when the other is having an off night.
They don't both have to be superstars every night. It's a great point, because Paul George overqualified for that #2 role on a team.
And Kawhi plays every 7 games anyway, so they're going to need it. Moving on to Luka Doncic, who was incredible yet again last night. 35-point triple-double in under 26 minutes. How about this? He scored 33 of those points in the first half. He now has 7 triple-doubles in 14 games this year. Nick, what's the ceiling for Luka?
Well, if he never improves at all, if this is just the player he is the rest of his career, he's a top 25 guy in the history of the league. That is the trajectory on which he is on without improvement. With improvement, the ceiling, I don't know, 3 MVPs, a couple championships at least. We have not seen a player, this is not hyperbole, a prep player come into the league this ready and polished since LeBron James. And in one kid's from Akron, this kid's from Slovenia. Their games are shockingly similar. Luka is all the hype was not only right, maybe even understated how great he was going to be. Could become the greatest foreign-born player ever, a title currently held by Hakeem Olajuwon with Dirk right on his heels.
Luka is flat out that dude. Like when I watch him play, he, in my opinion, and this is mine, he's the most exciting offensive player in the NBA right now, because I don't know what I'm going to get, but I know I'm going to get something special. And so when I look at what can't he do? He can get to the rack. He can defend when he needs to. He's long. He can shoot.
And he's a killer.
And he has the killer mentality. What more can you ask for your star, from your star? Like, that's exciting. And he's playing and living up to all the hype.
Jenna, LeBron James was the best player in the league by year 3. Luka Doncic could be that next year. I'm not saying he will be that. Luka Doncic could be the best player in basketball by the middle of next season. That is on the board.
All right, guys, we saved the biggest NBA news for right now on the show. Ben Simmons, wait for it, hit a 3-pointer. I repeat, Ben Simmons hit a 3-pointer. Now, it took him 172 career games to do it, but a 3-pointer was shot and a 3-pointer was made, and the guy who made it was Ben Simmons.
There you go.
Nick, in the scope of greatest achievements in one's lifetime, where should this rank?
This is
Ben Simmons?
No sarcasm. This is one of the biggest moments of his NBA career. For real, because if he's going to be given those open short corner threes, he has to take them. That shot looked fine. It's one of the reasons, Greg, I've never understood why he refused to shoot them. His form's fine. It's not perfect, but it doesn't look outrageous. I'm happy for Ben. Take that, Kevin O'Connor, and all the people saying he's shooting with the wrong hand. I mean, that looked beautiful. Now, he didn't shoot another one. I don't know how soon he'll do it again. But you got to start somewhere. Good start for Ben Simmons in an ugly game for the Sixers. They were trailing going into the fourth against the terrible Knicks.
Yeah, I feel like this is that parental moment where your kid is about to take the first steps, and it's like, you're so close, just go, just let go, and just take
it.
And then at age 15, he takes his first step.
Yes, Now just keep going.
Keep doing it.
Like, if he was playing pickup basketball, he wouldn't hesitate. He would take this shot all the time. We saw him, on social posting all these shots and from behind the arc. So he has it in him. He just has to do it more often.
And he had a 15-footer last night. There you go, Ben. Evolve your game. It's taken a couple more years than it should have. Evolve your game.
All right. Finally, Thursday Night Football serving up a feast tonight on Fox. Texans and Colts, the two teams sit tied atop the AFC South at 6-4. A win could mean the division. A loss could mean the season. Nick, who's got the edge in this matchup?
Well,
Did I put too much drama on it? I felt like it was appropriate.
No, listen, this game, of all the games this weekend, there are higher profile games this weekend, obviously, but none of the games this weekend have a bigger impact on this year's playoff picture than this one. None of the games this weekend will have a bigger impact on who wins a particular division than this one. And to answer your question, the Texans, at first glance, would appear to have a number of edges in this game. They have the better the better quarterback. They have the healthier team.
You said it right.
You almost said
I know that's your guy.
But that is why, spoiler alert, I'm going to pick the Colts. I picked the Colts to win this division before the year, post Andrew Luck's retirement, not only because I believe in Jacoby Brissett, who made some excellent plays last week in a game that was close early on, and then they ended up blowing out their opponent, but also because the coaching discrepancy between Frank Reich, who I believe is already one of the 6 best coaches in the NFL. I think he has proven it. What he's doing this year without the quarterback they expected to have, dealing with T.Y. Hilton's injury, who might be back tonight, Eric Ebron's injury, who might be back tonight. Now they're going to have to do it without Marlon Mack, who broke his hand at the end of last week's game. What he has done and his situational coaching, which I feel like was a big part of the Eagles' success, their Super Bowl run, was Frank Reich's situational coaching and understanding.
As their offensive coordinator.
I think Doug Peterson gleaned some of that stuff from Frank. That the mismatch between he and Bill O'Brien, who could coach in the NFL for 100 years and will never understand the clock, will never understand challenges, will never understand the most basic things you can do on Sunday or on a Thursday to put your team in a better position to win. I like the Colts. I like the Colts to win this game. I like the Colts to win this division. And it's a shame for the Texans because Deshaun Watson's on his rookie contract, and they have a bunch of talent on that team, but they've underachieved up to this point in the season. I think that continues tonight.
Man, this is tough. As much as I do like the Colts, as a player, if I were to put myself in Deshaun Watson's shoes, I'm not having another performance like I did last week.
Sure.
And so in knowing that, and knowing the kind of player he is, and the kind of leader he is, and how he wants to be great for his team and elevate the play of his team, I got to go with the Texans because I just don't think, as great of a quarterback, for all the reasons you mentioned and all the players that the Colts are missing or potentially will have back, it won't matter to Deshaun Watson. And I know there's so many other players that are going to be playing in this game for the Houston Texans, but he is the key to their success. Defensively, they have what it takes. They just got to put it on the field. Offensively, it's all about Deshaun Watson, and I don't see him having a game like he did last week against the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
And go ahead, Jennifer.
No, I was going to say they got shellacked last week. It's hard to imagine. And Deshaun Watson played arguably his worst game of the season. It's hard to imagine he would have back-to-back games like that.
And Deshaun's never had a bad primetime game. 6 career primetime games, 19 touchdowns, 2 picks, and a 121 rating. When the lights are the brightest, dating back to college, he's at his best. Just, folks, if you haven't been watching the Texans this year,